It's hard to be a parent. It's a really hard job, and any other support you can get to help you do that and to be sharing the same message is valuable.
As a parent now who have kids who are in their 20s, I don't even think my own kids are out of the woods, that the choices kids have to make these days are very difficult and complicated. And this is a great opportunity to send the right message to our children of activities that they have to be cautious about.
I would venture to guess 100% of students by the time they're a senior in high school have been exposed to it. Maybe not in a milieu where they're asking to participate, but they all know someone. I don't care if you're in the band, I don't care if you're a cheerleader, I don't care if you're an athlete, I don't care if you're in student council. You all know someone, and chances are you know someone who's probably addicted.
It seems like every 5 or 6 years there's a new drug on the market.
With alcohol, there's been a lot of marketing around products that really are aimed at young people. We've seen a lot of things like Four Loko and the energy drinks.
From the 70s, marijuana has increased, the potency with the THC has increased anywhere upwards to 30 to 40% higher.
And then we have a lot of prescription drug abuse with some of our young people. Prescription drugs are very easily accessible. Kids, if they were interested in experimenting with them, can get them from their own houses, from their grandparents' houses, from their peers. Some of those things have very high addiction potential.
As a teenager, you're kind of naive to that fact, that you don't think about the potential side effects and what happens if you don't take it as prescribed. We just saw it as safe.
Yeah, the game has changed in that way, that there's a way to progress it a lot faster than back in our day.
I think the other big piece to this is the technology piece.
We, as adults, have no clue what these children are doing.
It's important for parents to understand the technology in order to know how to set limits for it.
They can use their Facebook or their cell phones and get drugs delivered to this school faster than I can get a pizza.
It's important if your kid has a Facebook page, for example, that you understand Facebook and that you are looking at their page.
When you assume that your kids are not experimenting, then you're not preparing them. Then you're not saying things like, I get you're going to be in situations where there's going to be drugs and alcohol. I get that that's happening now. We need to talk about that, come up with a plan for it. So if parents aren't saying anything, kids are taking that not saying anything as a condition of permission.
They're looking for boundaries. Part of the developmental process is to sort of test these things, but they need to know where the lines are.
I keep an empty drug test on top of my refrigerator.
We need to be clear about what those lines are.
My daughter would say, oh my God, don't even ask. Toast, if you use drugs, my mom's gonna have you a peanut cup. Just don't.
And sometimes we think we're being clear and we're not.
Be that parent that kids are not gonna wanna come impaired to your house. But I can tell you right now, kids are at my house all the time.
When kids are in the moment, they often do the wrong thing because they are easily distracted. A parent needs to anticipate that moment with their kids. So you might have a conversation using what I call an I get it moment. I get there's a possibility there could be alcohol tonight wherever it is that you're going. And let's come up with a plan so that when you are faced with a particular situation, we have a game plan.
My daughter and I have a safety word.
And then you say to the kid, how could this play out?
She'll say that safety word in her sentence, and I'll know that she really is trying to save face and not go to that place.
They're very self-conscious, so they're thinking about all the things that other kids are going to think about them in that situation.
Well, I have been asked at a party before if I'd want to drink, and I just politely asked them, yeah, you can get me a Sprite.
If you use the tone of voice that you hated your parents using on you, if I find out, you better not, those are not conversation openers. And conversation openers are, I get that XYZ could happen.
The best way that I can avoid it is I just tell people my intentions. I tell them I'm not interested.
I get you might never have been in that situation. You might never have been at a party where there's alcohol before. So let's come up with some game plans.
Usually I try to just have initial refusal, just say no. If not, I'll try and get one of my friends to back me up.
You give them the skill set to be able to say no in a way that helps them save face.
Then I would just leave. That's not a type of environment that I'd like to be around anyway.
I'd be completely fine with calling my mom and telling her, I'm not comfortable here, will you come pick me up?
I can just text my mom, tell her, hey, call me, and I'll just say, oh, we have to leave. I'll tell everyone, oh, sorry, we have to leave, and I'm giving them a ride. So that's our way to kind of get out of this situation if we feel uncomfortable.
It is really important to know that most high school students are not drinking in any regular way.
The people that I'm friends with, we don't do alcohol. We don't drink on the weekends.
In recent surveys, about 56% of high school students report that they're not drinking. So it's the majority of kids that are not drinking.
That misperception that everybody drinks or not, the truth is not everybody drinks.
However, it feels to teens often that everybody is involved in drinking behaviors.
People who think that everyone's drinking definitely have the wrong perception of what's actually going on.
As parents, sometimes it feels like those really are the norms, that everybody's doing it, and especially if your child is reporting that to you. So it's important to have an understanding about what's actually happening and to have conversations with your kid about challenging those norms. Why do you think that that's true? What evidence do you have to support that? Tell me about what other people are doing. What have you been doing?
Peers learn from peers, whether it's good or bad.
I try to teach kids, younger kids, that it's okay to say no. And we try to give them ways that they can say no and give them an example that not all teenagers are drinking or doing bad things, and that they can look up to us and want to be like us, and in their lives, when they get older, make the right decision to not drink.
Think of the district attorney or the district attorney's office as, quote, the prosecutor. And that would be, in some cases, clearly necessary to prosecute people, but if you can prevent and intervene and provide education and help people make better decisions, then you will reduce the need to prosecute. So having programs that get the word out to let people know that there are alternatives and there are education programs and there are things that may help you make better decision making, I think is a critical component of being the district attorney.